Because of the negotiations and the deadline that's going on with the Hamas thing over there with the Israel war, I figured it'd be smart to take a couple minutes and explain a little bit about what's going on. There's a lot of talk right now that Hamas has accepted the peace deal. No, they haven't. Welcome back to another episode of What They Don't Say, and this is an important one because I've got to make my prediction. One of the reasons so many people wanted me to start a YouTube channel was because of my record on predictions. My prediction on this Hamas deal is they aren't going to take it. The first thing people have to realize about this deal is no, this is not a negotiated peace settlement. Trump delivered terms of unconditional surrender. He told them, you got to do these 20 things. Here's the 20 points. If you surrender, here's what we will do for you. That was the terms. It is surrender. They have to lay down all of their arms. They have to quit fighting. They have to completely leave the place. There can be no Hamas leaders left there. No Hamas soldiers left there. That is totally giving up the ground that they've been fighting for. That is surrender. This is a full, complete surrender. They're asking Hamas and all of their fighters to capitulate. They will be subjugated. This is full, unconditional surrender. Everyone who thinks that, oh, we've got a negotiated peace deal, you don't know a damn thing about military history and the history of nations or warfare. I don't care what you call this. People who are educated and have a history with this stuff know what they're seeing. That's why Hamas isn't going to take it. These people are crazy. They're not going to surrender. They'll fight to the last man. I really regret that Trump got fooled by him. He went to the Oval Office and gave a statement, and it was painful to watch. He was thanking other nations like Qatar and Egypt that had helped with negotiations. And I tell you, the guy could not have done more. Trump has tried so hard over and over. He's put so much time and effort into this, trying to end this awful war. But the truth is, Hamas doesn't want to end it. It's the same problem Trump has with Ukraine. And he gets ahead of himself on these things, and it's truly regrettable. All through his campaign, Trump said that he was going to end the war in Ukraine on day one. I said all along he's not going to. I wish he would quit saying that. He wasn't going to, and he hasn't. And the reason why is because neither side wants to quit fighting. That's where he's at, with the same problem over there in Gaza with Hamas. They don't want to quit. Those people hate Israel more than they love life. That is the problem. Israel is going to keep fighting because they can't have another October 7th. They can't live over there waiting for the next rocket to land among them. For the next Hamas Air Force raid where they come in on the little motorized hang gliders. That's the Air Force, and it killed. It was effective. That is the danger that Israel lives with. Their worst enemy is right across the border, a little strip of ground, a foot away in some places. This is their situation. Hamas is not going to quit. Now, the problem that Trump had was Hamas came out and they said that they've accepted it and they will go ahead and release all the hostages and all the bodies. Well, 2 days ago, they said they didn't even know where they all were. They've been saying that all along. They don't know where they all are. That's one of the reasons they can't release all the bodies and hostages, and the reason they won't. Some of the bodies are probably mutilated. They don't want people to see that. They're not going to return them all. If they do have them, which, I mean, who keeps dead bodies around? Seriously? They got so many splinter groups, they probably don't know where the little groups hid all the hostages. I don't believe they do know where every one of them is. Or that they've kept track of the dead bodies. I mean, come on. But how many of those Hamas fighters do they actually have? For God's sakes, look at this. For a couple of years now, Israel has been in there. They've been blasting that country. up and down and blowing up tunnels and all their little hideaways up and down throughout Gaza, which is a small strip of land. But they've been hitting it that hard for all this time, and they've still got arms in there. They've still got people in there that want to fight. What kind of a hornet's nest was that place? They were so heavily stocked with military supplies and trained personnel that they can't run out even after all of this bombing and carnage. My God, there was a lot of them. They estimate that there's still 3,000 of them. That's because they're living amongst the women and the children. They hide like that. But the problem that they've got right now, and the problem that Trump has in trying to seek a negotiated end to this, first of all, they will not negotiate in good faith. If Hamas wanted to negotiate in good faith, they would say, okay, we're going to give you the hostages to get it started, to show our good intentions. And then we'll negotiate the rest of it. No, they're not doing that. Trump said that they accepted the deal. They did not. They accepted the part about returning the hostages, and they said that they were prepared to negotiate the rest of it. Well, Trump's deadline is Sunday. This is Saturday. They've had all week. Where were they negotiating then? This is Hamas trying to buy time. This is what they have always done. They always want to talk and talk and talk, and they drag it out forever. But who do you deal with Hamas? I've said all along, this channel is not for the sheep people that just have to have their information plugged into them. They can go to major media for that. This channel here is for the people that can think and the people that already have some education and intellect. I don't care about the rest of that crap. Those people, that they can argue with each other in social media. The important thing here, if you know anything about the history, the American Indians, when the evil white Europeans, my ancestors, when they came here, they're negotiating with the Indians, they ran into a lot of trouble. It's like when the Dutch bought Manhattan. There's a lot of old stories about how the Dutch gave $24 worth of beads for the purchase of Manhattan. Well, what the Dutch didn't realize is the Indians, they didn't have titles and properties and boundaries and all that. They, hey, we won't cross that creek over there if you don't cross it coming this way. That's how they worked. And there was an ebb and flow to it all. It wasn't all delineated property lines with secured ownership. They're like, hey, yeah, sure, I'll take all these beads. $24 worth of beads back then was a big haul. And they took it, and they didn't really understand. They were thinking, okay, these Dutch guys are going to be running around here, put up a couple of houses. They didn't understand the property purchase. But along come another tribe, and they're starting to get pushy with these Dutch people, saying, you got to get out of here. And the Dutch said, well, wait a minute. We gave Chief so-and-so $24 worth of beads, man. We got a deal. He's like, well, that's not our chief. We didn't make that deal. There you go. That's what's going on with Hamas. You can go ahead and deal with them, but that doesn't mean the guys in the ranks are going to go along with it. You got to remember, Hamas feels empowered right now because we've got so many people who are supposed to be our allies that are in support of Hamas and the Palestinian state. Palestinian two-state solution, they already had it. They had Gaza. What did they do? They took all the money and all the supplies that were supposed to go to the people, and they built, 400 miles of tunnels that we know of so far? And they stocked them with military supplies. That's what they do when they have their two states. They use their state as a military base for attacking Israel. They can't coexist because Hamas, the radical Islamic nutcases, won't allow it. Right now it's Hamas. Tomorrow it could be somebody else. That's the thing you got to remember about these guys. If they do one thing well, it is to splinter off into 1,000 groups. It's like the Hydra of the old Greek mythology, the seven-headed beast. Hercules cut off one head, it grows 7 more. That's what we're dealing with with these Islamic nutcases over there. You can make a deal with Hamas and say 50% of the current Hamas members don't like it. They'll say, okay, well, now we're calling ourselves the Ibn al-Sharif. We're not Hamas anymore. It's the same people in the same place with the same weapons under a different name. You just negotiated with Hamas, not the Ibn al-Sharif. There you go. You got another sect. That's what happens with these people all the time. You can make a deal with one of them. The rest of them don't have to honor it. And the ones that made the deal with you probably will not honor it because they are not honorable people. They raise their children to hate. Everybody knows this. They think that Israel and America both have to be destroyed. But as long as people who are supposed to be our allies are out there supporting them, why would they quit? They defeated everybody except Israel and America. The rest of the world is lining up behind them because they're a bunch of damn cowards. You got to remember, too, Trump has been very tough on these people with the tariffs. I mean, they've been ripping us off for years. With the UN, with the NATO. They weren't contributing to any of this. Trump has forced them, our allies, so-called allies over in Europe, he's forced them to do a lot of things that they didn't want to do, and this cost them money because all of a sudden they're not free riding on America. So they got a chance to backstab Trump with this Palestinian deal, with recognizing Palestine as a country that never was. That's their chance to get back at Trump for the victories that he scored over them, trying to right the wrongs of the past. So don't think that this is settled. Hamas has only said that they will negotiate. They said they'll give back the hostages because that's the thing the world wanted to hear. They haven't done it, have they? All they have to do is drive their little ambulances up to the border and say, here they are. We're operating in good faith. Now let's negotiate. No, they didn't do that. It's just words. That's all they do. They just talk. They make promises that they don't keep. This is lip service. I know a lot of people are falling for it. That's why I keep saying this channel isn't going to be for everybody. If you refuse to be fooled, if you can think for yourself, you know what I'm saying is true. Now, I don't believe there's going to be a deal. I believe Hamas is going to negotiate it right up to the final moment. Trump has to snap at some point. He's got to walk away to save his own face because he really capped it off by going to the Oval Office and spiking the ball on this. We've got a deal. I want to thank Egypt. I want to thank Jordan. I want to thank everybody that helped. Qatar. Man, Trump, thank him for helping, but this is like George Bush walking onto the aircraft carrier with a big sign, mission accomplished. No, Trump, this mission is not accomplished. You cannot trust these people. They haven't done anything yet. Show us the bodies. Show us the bodies. Bring the hostages. Then you're getting somewhere. Then you've got a reason to go into the Oval Office. But, man, don't set yourself up like this, Trump. You're just making it easy for the other guys to come in and say, see, Trump blew it. He didn't know. Don't do this. You should have learned that when you said you would shut down the Ukrainian war on day one. I said that wouldn't happen. This isn't going to happen either. You might get a couple leaders of Hamas to sit down, maybe if somebody promises them an estate somewhere with a fancy home and a pension, because we know that happens in the background. No one talks about it, but we know that happens. So you might get a couple of leaders to go ahead and go along with it. That doesn't mean the troops are going to. There's no deal made with Hamas. I don't believe there's going to be a peace deal. Because remember, Hamas is just a name. The same people can give themselves another name tomorrow. Hamas can say, we honored our agreement, but now this other group, they're the problem. That's what happens. It's the tribal nonsense that's been going on over there for 4,000 years. Don't trust them. This isn't over. It's going to be an interesting weekend to see how this goes, but no, don't expect it to end. And Bibi has had enough. He's ready to go in and cut the war wolves loose. It's time it was done. They've just got to waste it. These people are not going to quit. They're not going to quit. You got to quit treating them with these little pink handmaiden gloves. Got to quit coddling them. Turn loose the dogs. It's the only way that war is going to end, is by killing the people that keep making the war. It has always been so. We got to get this right, my friends. If we do, then maybe God will continue to bless this great country of ours. Thanks for listening.